What's good, family? The best show in the world, the best basketball show in the world. The freshest opinions and views in the world's most beautiful game. I'm here with the homies, the squad, the best starting five in the podcast league, even though we're missing the homie Leak. Shout out to the boy Bryant, TK, and the boy Dunkman Keith. Boys, how are we feeling?
Man, I'm feeling good. It was a good week. AAU tryouts tomorrow. That's where I believe my homie Leak at. So, like I said, it's feeling like a good summer about to come around, man. I'm excited.
TK, how you doing, bro?
Rested, rejuvenated, ready to talk about basketball. Missed the last pod. Glad to be back.
We missed you too.
Sure y'all did.
We missed you.
You looked real comfortable in this seat.
It's a good seat. I texted you. I told you. I said, you got the best seat on the show. And I was like, if he wants to miss another pod, I'll be sad. But at least I get to sit on the couch.
I'll keep that in mind.
No, I love when you're here, bro. I love when you're Keith, how we doing, bro?
I'm good. I got a mic, y'all.
Yeah.
Just, so y'all can hear four voices sometimes.
Foolery's here. About to be having a whole lot of fun. Y'all ready to get started?
I'm ready, man.
I got nothing else to do.
Like I said, man, Minor Hoops Podcast. We appreciate everyone who's in on the show. If you are new to the show and you want to become family, it's easy to become family. All you got to do is hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and comment below to join the conversation because we love the conversation. And the bigger the family, the better the family. So thank y'all so much. I think we're still sitting at, 229, 230, somewhere like that. So we're trying to get to that 1,000 and up. So y'all keep showing love, keep sharing the pod. Let's get it. Where we want to start? We can start with Kyrie. We can start with it. Where we want to start? We want to start basketball. We just get right into basketball and do the off-court stuff later.
Yeah, let's get to basketball first.
All right. So some good games were played last night. I think one of which was Boston versus Miami, if I'm correct. And we were kind of talking about it. We kind of talking about the East itself and how I'll be the guy to say I was loud and wrong. I kind of gassed up the East this season. I was like, the East could very well rival the West, and it's looking like I was loud and wrong. And
yeah. Miami versus the Jazz.
Miami versus Jazz. Excuse me, my bad. Miami versus Jazz, and we were gassing up the East, but it seems like I said, it's been kind of fizzing in a sense. Like you got your top three, but outside of that, it hasn't been that spectacular. One teams that we've been concerned about or has been concerning, and we kind of alluded to it a little bit when we alluded to Kemba last episode, is the Boston Celtics. What do y'all make of their situation? What do y'all think about them? What's wrong, and how can we get back on track?
So I think what's wrong with them right now is kind of the same thing we saw last year that kind of cropped up in the playoffs when Gordon Hayward got hurt. It's an obvious lack of talent, to keep it simple. You have right now they have two perennial All-NBA players, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. Both of them are ascending stars who, like I said, we're watching mature into superstars before our very eyes. Kemba, last year, was coming back from injury. He wasn't Kemba, but he was still an above-average NBA point guard, and that kind of supplemented some of their problems last year, and they still had Marcus Smart last year. Well, now Kemba is a below-average NBA guard right now since he's come back from injury, and they don't have Marcus Smart.
True fact.
So you went from having, we got four good players to, now we got two. You let Gordon Hayward walk out the door for nothing. Granted, you didn't want to pay him that contract. Looks like Charlotte actually made a good investment on that one because he's been balling out this year.
Yeah.
But you let him walk out the door for nothing. And like I said, there's something people have been alluding to with Danny Ainge for years now where it's like he's made these moves throughout this tenure where it's like, okay, Kyrie kind of left, took Kemba over Kyrie, whatever. You let Al Horford walk out the door. Right now they have an obvious lack of talent. That's their problem. And they really lack creators. Outside of Tatum and Brown, they don't really have anybody that can create their own shot. Kemba's supposed to be the third guy, but he's not good right now. So I don't know how they fix that problem in the short term. Like they're kind of stuck with the roster they have right now. They do have that trade exception from the Gordon Hayward transaction, which is a very large trade exception. I think it's like $28 million.
Yeah.
So I mean, they could theoretically make a crazy move if somebody wants to dump somebody, but I don't know if they can get a star player back in that can fix their problems.
What do you think, TK?
I was leaning more towards like guidance because I heard the comments made by the owner talking about how they're not a championship team and et cetera and et cetera. It's hard to continue to put forth a winning effort when that belief isn't even instilled from you top down.
Right.
I think Brad Stevens is honestly looking a little shaky.
Could we be looking at Brad Stevens last season?
I know he has to be at least on a hot seat. I don't know about last season, but all of that basketball genius nonsense has really been quieted. And I don't, well, not to call it
finals last year.
I will say not to call it nonsense, but it's everybody's looking at it as if why can't this work? I look at it as if they're still extremely young. Like I don't think they're supposed to beat the Nets. I don't think realistically they shouldn't really be getting past the Sixers if Ben Simmons is just doing what he's supposed to do. But in such a win now, push heavy type of league, especially with the consistent roster moves that the Celtics have made and bringing big stars in, letting big stars walk, it seems like, okay, this process seemed like they were flipping to try to get to a championship. And since they've gotten so close, it's kind of becoming like their time frame or time stamp to actually win something has gotten shorter. Like we need it sooner rather than later. When in reality, you still have two young studs on the wing who can develop and compete for the next decade.
So yeah, you're looking at it from a sense of just to be clear, you're looking at it from a sense of these guys are not actually understanding what kind of timeline they're on.
Yeah.
So they kind of like, oh, we've been to the conference finals, so we need to be NBA finals.
We need to get over the hump, but our two best players are like 24.
Okay. I can get with both of those things, but from what y'all saying, because Marcus Smart missing is a huge deal. Huge deal on both sides of the ball, because he played that I'll guard anybody role and did it pretty well.
One of the best defenders in the league.
And then you have him on the other side. He became an improved three-point shooter. And then you started seeing him be able to create, making those kind of like hockey assist plays where he's doing the extra pass kind of decision things and just making a smart play all the time down for the most part, except a couple times during the late where he just like, I'm supposed to be Marcus Smart and I can hit any shot. But
I mean, like he definitely has irrational confidence.
Yeah,
which you kind of need sometimes.
Exactly, which is fine. I think a lot of those kind of guys have that kind of chip where they feel like they can do anything. So never was a problem, but his absence is just too big. And then you, like you say, I said, I don't know if Kemba's healthy at all. Like he's playing, but I don't know if he's necessarily healthy. And if he is healthy, it goes back to the thing of, do I trust that my body can do what it used to do? Like the doctor may say, you're stronger than ever. But if I don't go out there, I mean, you can allude to this because you're going through the whole rehab situation now. Like when they tell you your body can say, oh, it can withstand that. You can run now. You can jog. You still not going to be trying to run somewhere right away. Like you're not going to go out and say, oh, I'm about to go sprint, go run a mile and a half or go hoop again just because you say, oh, that leg's stronger than it's ever been. So I think that may be a thing. And so you have Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum trying to like make up a lot of the deficiencies, especially on the offensive side, and defensively as well. You look at him too, so it's kind of like a lot is on their weight early. A lot of weight is on their back early, and I think Brad Stevens is a genius. I think he is a great coach. I think this is more of a Danny Ainge issue because he was so comfortable with saying like I can work around losing a Kyrie. I can work around not attempting to go and get Anthony Davis. I can work around, just letting Gordon Hayward walk out the door and maybe not understanding, hey, we need to have more talent on the floor. And we might have to pay a little bit more to have this talent. So I don't know.
So I think there's two things you always got to consider dealing with or looking at this roster rather. With Brad Stevens, like I said, I think Brad Stevens' basketball acumen, his IQ has been put on display well enough where it's like I don't think there's a question about the X's and O's with him. Like he knows the game, he knows how to coach, he knows his system. Like he's shown he can adjust. The question for him, and this is something that some people have brought up, is it's more of a personality thing. It's can he get the same results out of superstars as he's gotten out of those Boston teams that were, for lack of a better term, lacking superstar talent. Even that year they had Isaiah Thomas, like, as great as Isaiah played that year, I didn't consider Isaiah Thomas a superstar level player. He was just amazing that year. Like, Brad Stevens has this thing, like, he's able to cobble together pieces and make them seem better than what they are. In this case, where you have a guy like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown now who, like, they've ascended. They're like, okay, we are stars in this league. Jason Tatum's felt like that since, his rookie year, essentially.
Yeah.
Like, since he's gone toe-to-toe with LeBron. You could say Jaylen Brown probably felt the same way. And now you also add in a guy like Kemba, who, granted, Kemba, for all intents and purposes, seems like a very humble guy, very, like, going to go with the flow, not really rock the boat too much. But even he has, like, a star personality to him. Like, he's been a star in this league for a while. Brad Stevens, like, it's this weird thing. Like, he had to figure out how to navigate these egos. And we saw that crop up with the Kyrie year. And it was like, can Brad Stevens juggle egos and personalities? That's really the main question for him. Going back to the roster construction, it's weird. Like, I think one of the most important decisions GMs make is who you give max money to. Like, draft picks, all that's well and good. Like, it's really hard if you know what you're doing as a scout and as a GM, and this is going to sound crazy to say, but it's almost hard to really mess up consistently on draft picks. Like, that comes down to player development and coaching. Like, granted, for the people that took Darko Milicic over Carmelo and Wade, yeah, you messed up. Like, we get it. You messed those up. But for the most part, like I said, if you're drafting in the top 5, you're getting a somewhat talented ball player.
And that was Joe Dumars. Like,
yeah, that was Joe Dumars.
And
he got a championship still. So,
yeah, like so that's
okay, you live with it.
Right.
Heck, got like 6 straight Eastern Conference Finals appearances out of that. Like, okay,
Right.
you got to live with that. So, but like, anytime you're drafting in the top 5, you're 9 times out of 10 getting a talented ball player.
Yeah.
So that comes down to coaching and player development. But one of the most important decisions a GM makes is, who are you really willing to give max money to? He went in on Kemba Walker. As much as we all wanted Kemba to get paid, because he definitely earned his money in Charlotte, going through those horrible teams and those horrible years, I was one of the people that said, like, yo, if I'm Charlotte, I'm not giving him max money. He's a 30-year-old 6-foot point guard. Like, that's not a good investment. Like, and you're kind of seeing this crop up now in Boston, where it's like, Kemba's not a max player, but you gave him a max contract last year. You're stuck. And granted, the thing that's going to bail him out is the fact that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are both really young. So, I mean, they could weather this storm and get through it and still be a competent team for the foreseeable future. There's still only one game out of the 4 seed.
Yeah.
Due to the East being so inept right now. But, like, they're stuck with Kemba. Like, unless somebody's willing to take that contract on, I don't know who would. But that is a very important decision. Like I said, it's going back to we talked about Rudy Gobert and the Jazz. Like, why did the Jazz give him the max money? He's showing why this year. Like, you can see he may not be a superstar, but you're getting a superstar type production from him.
Yeah.
Like, you're not getting all-star production right now from Kemba. Excuse me. And that is concerning. And once again, I don't know how they bounce back from that. So, it's like I said, it's a lot of things. Their timeline is messed up. I think they tried to rush it. Once they tasted the Eastern Conference Finals that first year with Tatum and Brown, they were like, oh, we should go for it. Probably should have recognized you overachieved a little bit and kind of be patient. But, okay, you swung for the fences. You swung and missed with Kyrie. You swung and missed with Gordon Hayward. Like, all these things have messed up. And then you add this Kemba Walker contract on top of it. And now it's like, where do we go from here? I don't know where they go from here. I really need to see what they do with that trade exception. I think that's their way to get out of this.
I think they hold it.
I mean, it expires in the summer, I believe.
In the summer?
I believe so.
So they can't use it in this offseason coming?
Yeah, this, like I said, I think it expires after this offseason, like going into next. So they have to use it, I think, by the beginning of next season.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, so I don't think they go out and make like a rush to get a player this year. I think they hold it and wait until the offseason, kind of like get a better understanding. And that's very Danny Ainge-ish too. Like, and maybe that's the issue. Like, maybe Danny Ainge, to some level, has become, I guess, too set in his ways and too set in on his patterns and how he goes about GMing.
He's overrated as a GM. Can we just go ahead and say that? He's overrated as a GM.
Okay. We could say that. I mean, I'm not opposed because people talk about that Kevin Garnett trade all the time.
You mean the one that he traded with his best friend?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, shocking. That's like you and me making a trade in 2K, Greg. Like, yeah, you're my guy. I know I can get you to help me out. Yeah. If I need it.
So I think his patterns and maybe even being overrated to some extent has started to kind of show itself a little bit. And I don't know. I don't know what'll happen. It's crazy. They got that trade from Brooklyn, that wild trade that sent all them off, right? And Brooklyn is still going to get a ring, possibly before they do. So that tells you what aggression can do in this market. You know, just being aggressive, saying, "Look, I'm a big market. I have a big opportunity. I can go swing for the fences. I can get a KD. I can get a Kyrie. I can get a James Harden. Let me go ahead and do that and just leave it all up."
Either swing for the fences or tank. There's no, don't be in the middle. Don't be in the middle for 10 years. That's what Boston's been. They've been in the middle for 10 years.
I wouldn't call Eastern Conference Finals the middle.
We acknowledge one was an overachievement. And then last year was that was their best shot.
Yeah, they've been in the top.
Yeah. But here's the thing. Have
30 teams in the league and you're top 8 consistently. I'm not
have
gonna
they
call
ever
it the
gone
middle.
into a season where we were like, oh, they're the favorites?
No, but that's not the middle.
We'll see.
Like
Mr. Brooklyn Net over here. Are you picking them in the next 3 years over the Brooklyn Nets?
no, but that's still not the middle. That's all I'm arguing.
I got you.
But yeah, the Celtics, I don't know. They should have just been more patient in my mind.
I agree.
Okay. Looking at the rest of the East, we got Toronto sitting at the 4. I mean, everybody's like a game and a half once you get past the top 3. And I haven't been that super impressed with Milwaukee, but I explained that for my own reasons. I think.
Yeah, we had a whole discussion last week.
So I explained that. But looking at the East, the Knicks gonna make the playoffs, man.
Oh my God.
I'm doing it. The Knicks making the playoffs. It is what it is.
Oh, you said they don't at first.
They
do.
are.
Oh, okay.
They are. Knicks make the playoffs.
Okay.
You don't think so?
I know. I kind of agree at this point.
Yeah, at this point,
As long as they keep that team together.
Knicks making the playoffs.
I can't hate on the Knicks.
You.
I can't hate on the Knicks.
I told you. I sat on this show. I said, watch the Knicks make the playoffs. And you said, what? I'm having fun today.
I don't
you
even
said
remember
what?
I honestly don't remember what I said.
Shut up, Greg. Essentially, shut up. Don't talk about it.
You got me then. You got me.
Rubbing in your face.
The Knicks are making the playoffs.
Shout out to the Knicks.
The fact that we're having this conversation shows how ridiculous it is at this point.
No, yeah, the East is really
trash.
Really trash, man. Really trash. As sick as it is, Washington still has a chance to get in. Only team that's really out of the race is Detroit.
Yeah, and I'll say, I'm gonna say Cleveland's out of it at this point too.
Okay, I mean that's not necessarily due to the record, but that's due to them and their decisions to sit Drummond and kind of work out these buyout situations and trade off everybody. So, yeah, I'll give you that. They've conceded. I'll give you that.
And then I think Orlando's about.
They're right behind them. Yeah.
I think they're 2 weeks away from doing the same thing. Yeah. I think Aaron Gordon and Evan Fournier are going to be on the block very soon. There's already some rumors floating around.
Okay. So you hinted at one thing. No, I guess before we didn't start the show, you said let's talk about the buyers and sellers. Who's buying an Aaron Gordon? Who's buying an Aaron Gordon? Where you see him fit? Where you see him fit? Who can afford him? You pick.
Denver would be a great spot for him. I think Boston would be a good spot for him as well.
I was thinking Boston. I think he helps Portland.
Yeah, he definitely would help Portland. Trying to think who else. Maybe Dallas. Like, Aaron Gordon is a guy who fits a lot of places. Like, he's really a prototypical player for this league. He's a 3-4, can handle it a little bit, not a horrible shooter, can be a really good defender when he's locked in, super athletic, we already know.
Yeah.
Like, he fits almost everywhere. Like, any team would be good to have him. To me, he's kind of like what Jeremy Grant was last year when he hit the block. Like, you know, if you put him in a good situation, like, he's going to produce for you.
Yeah.
He's just been stuck in Orlando so long, and Orlando has been just – they put together solid teams, but they've never done him any favors. Like, the team construction has always – they don't know what they wanted to do with him. They tried to make him a 3, put him on the perimeter, then they tried to make him a 4.
At one point, I think he was at, like, the 2.
Yeah, like,
for a good minute. Like,
he's never had a defined role with them where he could thrive. So I think there's a couple places he could go that can make that happen.
Okay. Okay, so we're looking – who else is selling? PJ Tucker's out there.
Yeah,
he's been floated around.
Another guy who fits anywhere, like 3-and-D veteran.
Go to Brooklyn, bro. Go to Brooklyn. Hang out with your best
Just
friend.
give everybody.
Hang out with your best
Just
friend.
give Brooklyn to everybody.
Did you watch the show?
I didn't finish it.
You didn't finish it?
I
You
didn't
get to the
finish
end.
it, yeah.
I defended it.
He did.
I did
What
my
happened?
best.
I only got like 30 minutes into it.
I defended your honor and Brooklyn's honor
He
the
did.
best I could,
He
man.
tried.
Because Brian was over
Who's
here.
hating on Brooklyn right now? They're on the
not hating.
street.
He wasn't hating on Brooklyn, but he was
I was
saying
just asking questions.
he was. Go ahead.
was
Your
asking
question
questions.
was
No,
flip them on.
no, my question was literally like my question literally came down to if they get Andre Drummond. So if they get Andre Drummond, my question was like, how much does this really improve Kevin Durant and James Harden's legacy? Because at that point, all you did was just create one super team for another. Like, you didn't do anything different. You just swapped out Golden State for Brooklyn. That was all I was saying. That's all the questions I was asking.
So if you create a roster and set it around yourself so it gives you the best option of winning, it doesn't boost your legacy as much?
I mean, but wasn't that always like the thing?
Because I
of
saw
negative?
a man go to like 10 finals in the East in a row.
But that was the thing though.
But we're not talking about legacies. We're arguing whether he's the GOAT or not.
What? Well, other people argue that. I don't. My point was simply with Kevin Durant. The whole thing with him going to Golden State, everybody was like, "Oh, he had to go to a super team. He's never going to win if he doesn't have a super team." Well, if he literally just walks and says, "All right, I'm just going to go create another super team that is maybe even more overpowered than the one I left," like, how does that prove he did anything that LeBron didn't do or that any other? Like, you see what I'm saying?
Who says he has to prove that?
I mean, I think that's been the consensus of him since he went to Golden State.
Not him. He's never said he's never
Well,
come out
he
and
can
said
say that all he wants, but when you're talking about legacy and what people
but
are going
he's
to
never
say
talked
and how
about
you
his
rank
own
them.
legacy. Like, that's other people.
We're debating two different things here. I'm
We're
not talking about what
not.
Kevin Durant
But-
thinks of himself. I'm talking about what the
You
people
said,
in
yeah.
media are going to say about him.
But
his legacy and the way
people are
going
gonna talk about him regardless.
But that's the thing. If he had just went to Brooklyn with Kyrie, let's say they don't add James Harden and he wins a title, I think that would have elevated him far higher than if he wins now. That's my point.
I mean, sure, if Braun would have just went to the Heat without Chris Bosh, or
But that's my point. If he wants to elevate himself above these guys, and he had to do something they never did, which he's not really trying to do, is my point.
I think he's just trying to win. I think that's the
Hey, I
most-
can't knock the hustle.
Look,
Like,
yeah.
win it.
I'm not gonna-
win is
yeah.
win.
And I told him, I said that out of everyone's legacy in terms of Kyrie, James, Drummond, whoever else is on this team, that's a star. KD will have the greatest impact if they win.
Yeah,
Hands down.
he's the best player on that team.
He's the best player on the team. So he created the culture. He created the space for. He did.
Created is strong, but he's just a centerpiece of play. He's a centerpiece of play. Like, in terms of what goes on the basketball court, KD's number one.
Is he? It seems like James Harden the one that's really making all the decisions now.
Well, KD hasn't played in like 7 of the last 8.
I feel you, but like even before KD got hurt, it seemed like James Harden was the one taking control of that.
Well,
offense.
he's the point, like Kyrie has said, which
feel
will
you.
make Kyrie the 2, which I said he always wanted to be, but you was like, nah, he doesn't want to be the 2.
Because he's the one that said he didn't want to be a 2. That's literally what he said with LeBron.
He didn't say he didn't want to be. I meant like to guard, not
Kyrie has always been like, I want to be the guy with the ball in my hands until all of a sudden now.
He just wanted to be incorporated.
The thing was, I looked at it and I said in this manner, KD gets an opportunity to be called everything LeBron got called. La GM, La coach, all that. This was his opportunity to say, this is a rookie head coach I have. So if I take a rookie head coach and this team
I can do the same thing that he did.
In a COVID, in COVID, we ain't get to practice, we ain't get training camp, and I get to make this work, and I beat. It don't even matter at this point. If I beat the Clippers, who's been together for 2 years, if I beat
they beat anybody if they won it.
If I beat LeBron and AD, if I beat whoever I go against,
I'm the man.
They've been together longer than we've been together, and I made this work, and I was the leader, hands down,
best player on that team,
best player and the leader of this mob. That exceeds the media and everyone will gladly accept that and throw that in his belt as a notch. And that's what I told him. So that
if they want a chip, nobody's gonna be taking this away.
Yeah.
Once again, my whole thing was contingent on Andre Drummond. Like I said, right now, as constructed, they win. Yeah, I'm with y'all. Fine.
If they get Andre Drummond and they win, it's still great.
That is overpowered as a mug. You got what we said. What we were literally talking about James Harden being the greatest scorer of the generation 2 years ago. You add in Kyrie, the greatest ball handler. You add in Andre Drummond, who you could arguably say is the greatest rebounder of the last 10 years. And it's like that's overpowered as a mug. Like any way you want to slice it, that is overpowered.
So,
and once again,
that's what I said.
Hey, I get it. Once again, I'm not saying
I'm trying to win.
Once again, I never faulted LeBron for going to Miami.
I didn't either.
I never faulted
KD
Kevin Durant
going
for
to
Golden State.
Wizards.
I get it. You want to stack your team as best as possible. That's what you're supposed to do as a GM. Like I said, even
and
players
that's why
now.
me as a fan, I'm not going to argue that with nobody in terms of whether it's taken away from his legacy or not. Because if there was a tournament right now in this city, are you grabbing like the other 4 best hoopers you know, or are you going to try to make it hard for yourself because you got pride and you want to put another notch on your legacy? You ain't going to care when you got that check in your hand. You're going to go out there, you're going to create the best team that you could possibly create. And if you sweep the entire thing, then you sweep everybody and you win. We want to be winning is the ultimate achievement and greatness in legacy.
Is. And literally, people still say about Kevin Durant right now in Golden State, those titles don't really count.
I don't care what those people say.
Like you can say that, but like that's what gets attached to his legacy. That's my only point.
There's still people who say like Jordan played plumbers and all of that. I don't care about their opinion
now,
either.
once again, but like I said, those people are really ignorant.
Winning is winning.
Like there's a large majority of people in NBA media, NBA wherever, that literally look at Kevin Durant and is like, those titles aren't valid. Like that's literally what they say,
and that's stupid.
You can say it, and once again, I disagree with the fact that they aren't valid. I disagree with that part. They're definitely valid.
Chips, they're NBA
he
championships.
He was part of the greatest team.
He has 2 Finals MVPs.
Facts, great form. But I will still say on the other hand he still hasn't really done what Kobe did, what Jordan did, kind of what LeBron did. Like, he hasn't done it yet. And if he just goes somewhere else and creates the most overpowered team in the league, he still hasn't done it.
If my name keeps popping up on all the greatest teams of all time, like, and so I think that
if I become the common denominator for the greatest super teams of all time, maybe something super
that
about
might
me.
That might honestly be his legacy though. Like that honestly might be his legacy.
I've been the best player on 2 of the best super teams of all time.
Facts. That might go down as his legacy.
Nah, like I don't know when this thing of you've had to struggle or you had to get it the hard way because it's so much better.
Oh, it's been a
it's
thing.
always like since the dawn of time, winning is winning. They don't remember losers that well. But if you win, like regardless of how you won, nobody's really gonna dismiss a chip. Yeah, you're not gonna dismiss a chip. Like that's
we will always remember the 20.
It's always about. I always say it's about how you win and it's about how you lose. Like Magic Johnson and Larry Bird's legacy has always been elevated because they went against each other. It was, I'm one of the greatest of all time. You're one of the greatest of all time. We're gonna face off. We're gonna find out who's the best. Jordan, like I said, he had a struggle. You went against the bad boys. You took out the bad boys. Then you went on and beat Karl Malone and John Stockton. Like you literally went and beat every dream teamer.
So
like that's what Jordan did.
He didn't overcome his adversity. That's what people.
That's honestly what some people look at it as. Like you didn't go through Golden State beat you. Golden State beat you, and then you had to team up with Golden State, who was already the 73 win mob, to take out LeBron. And now LeBron's 36, and now you had to go get James Harden and Kyrie, and now you want to add on Andre Drummond.
I always
Like
hate
that's
that.
just how people gonna look at
Nobody
it.
looks at it like LeBron. You had to go get AD to win when you just missed the playoffs.
A lot of people do. That's one of the knocks on LeBron right now.
But no, that's what I'm saying. Like at certain points in time, we gotta realize like you're always gonna try to elevate your team and make it better.
Facts.
Like so, I don't get the knock that people are getting for these superstars are getting for wanting better teams. Like especially in this day and age, because we got people like Dame. How many times have y'all gotten on this pod like Dame needs to go to the East if he wants to win, etc., etc. If you want to win, you gotta do this, you gotta do that, you gotta play with this person, you gotta play with that person, and a person actually creates that situation for themselves. Whether I got this guy, I got this situation, I got this coach, I got this media market. Now it's like, you're winning a little too easy. Like I have to struggle, but I have to struggle in the way that you want me to. But I have to have all the right assets around me to still win. It's like people want a pinpoint champion. And that's not the way it works. Like sometimes it's gonna be really easy, sometimes it's gonna be really hard. That's just the way championships rock, especially in nowadays, because we don't see anybody realistically. If the Lakers are healthy, we don't see anybody in the West getting past them until they add something. Because LeBron and AD just seem so overpowered, and then all the role players around it fit. It was catered to them.
Yeah.
And the Nets, it doesn't seem like that way. The more talented you are, that's how to get over the hump nowadays. It's like steroids. Instead of everybody working for 8 years to get one chip, or instead of getting it like the Dirk Nowitzki way, which still had a revamped roster that 2011 year.
Yeah.
Now it's just like, let's just get as talented as possible. So it's not a knock. It's just another way to win. Like if the end goal is winning, which everybody says is winning, because you're gonna get knocked. Like we always talk about who's gonna be the next Charles Barkley out of this generation, whether it's gonna be like Melo or somebody like, or Chris Paul, somebody extremely great who never won a ring. Now, like if we're gonna say winning is the most important thing, we can't knock how people win now. It's winning's the most important, but it's about how you win. But with how you won wasn't like cheating or anything. It's just I didn't like it. That's childish.
It is. It is.
I can't argue that.
Two chips is two chips. Two Finals MVPs is two Finals MVPs.
I think we're gonna. That's just always gonna be a discussion.
It always
To
is.
end the time.
It always is.
We got. I mean,
Because we're
we
gonna
have to
rank
accept-
chips, and I rank chips too. But a chip is still a chip, and I
Yeah.
can't disrespect it in the slightest.
Yeah.
It's a championship.
Like, let's make something very clear. Championships are always valid. No matter, like I said, it doesn't matter how you won, how you did. They're always valid. Now,
Unless
like I
you
said, no matter what
blatantly
you said,
cheated or
yeah.
something, like if it was like
Point
baseball,
J,
out in
whatever, you did
half,
something
you always
crazy.
juiced up or something like that.
Right.
Like the chip is always valid. Now going back to what you said. Now you do rank chips. Like every chip.
And so I think that's where I think the conversation will get gray, because
If you want to rank his chip as really low because it was easy, I'm like, sure.
I think that's what it's gonna be at some
Exactly.
point.
That's
So,
just an opinion, though.
it is. But I mean, once again, all time greats are all it gets opinionated.
Yeah, of course.
When we start,
Cutting hairs. Splitting hairs, I'm sorry.
yeah. So, yeah.
Because in a wild scenario,
I tried to defend him, man.
KD
a
could
good
go
job.
back to back and win these next 2 years, and now we're talking about KD and Bron sitting at 4.
Yeah.
It's not a wild, like,
No wild at all.
yeah.
It's very possible.
We can discredit chips all we want, but whatever.
All right, what's next?
I mean, we still talking about buy and sell. We got off on a tangent.
Oh, yeah.
We talk about
Are we still talking about buyers and sellers?
yeah, buyers and sellers.
I'm interested to see what San Antonio does.
Yeah, they could go either route.
They
in my
really
mind.
could.
They go either route in my mind.
Like they got a lot of really solid veterans who some teams would really like.
I do want them to. I do want them to sell DeMarcus DeRozan.
You said DeRozan and LaMarcus.
Yeah, I definitely want them to sell DeRozan and Aldridge for sure. Because I've seen enough. Keldon Johnson, Lonnie Walker. Keldon Johnson and Lonnie Walker is here.
You
man.
said that. Sad
I've
part
seen
is you
enough.
took it a positive. You said it. You spun it back to positive, but the way you said it made it sound really bad for DeMar and
I've
LaMarcus
seen
at
enough.
first.
I was like,
I've seen
go.
enough. Like, DeMar
Shut
been
down
playing
the whole
well.
game.
Oh, he's playing
Hey.
really well. He's playing really well. The Spurs are playing really well. But Keldon Johnson and Lonnie Walker have showed me that they're not necessarily. I don't think they're going to be superstars,
They're solid players.
but they good. They are good. and then you got Murray still. Jakob Poeltl can play. He's no scrub. So you got those guys. Now you just got to go make that cap space, and then y'all got to go hunt down your next Kawhi, wherever that is. Like whether it's in like the draft, because they're good at doing that. They're good at like saying we're gonna sneak up. This is gonna be a hard draft to sneak up on anybody for because everybody got their eyes wide on this draft. But they can find another guy that can be that like that catalyst piece that brings everything together.
I feel you.
And then they reset their clock, and their clock then will when they hit their prime, it falls right in line to after KD, after LeBron, Steph. It falls right in line to that.
I got you.
And so I think they could create that new dynasty right after this era kind of fades out a little bit.
I feel you. Yeah, like they got a lot of really talented young guys. And then, like I said, they have veterans people want. DeMar, I think, is a guy a lot of people in the league will want. Now to actually think about it, Boston might want to take a swing at that.
Yeah.
Give them another shot creator on the wing. Whatever, that's another. Anyway, LaMarcus is a little bit more iffy. His contract's a little crazy, and he's 35. He's not what he used to be. He's definitely on the down end. Then even guys like Patty Mills, Rudy Gay, like these are guys like, I swear to God, if I got to watch Brad Wanamaker on Golden State anymore, like, please get him out of there for Patty Mills. Like, I don't care what it would take. If they could somehow swap Patty Mills for Brad Wanamaker, Golden State would have at least 3 more wins right now. That's how bad Brad Wanamaker has been this season. He is god-awful. As bad as Kelly Oubre was at the beginning of the season, Brad Wanamaker is 3 times as bad compared to what he's supposed to be doing on the floor.
We got to be careful the way you talk because
no, I'm dead serious. Brad Wanamaker can't, outside of sometimes staying in front of his man on defense, he can't do anything well on offense.
I feel like you're just picking a new warrior to bully.
No.
yeah.
No.
That's what it
You can
sounds
look.
like.
That's what exactly what it sounds like.
No, this is like, have y'all watched Brad Wanamaker this season? The man can't get the ball up the court.
I think we should wait 2 months because he might start playing well.
If he does, then credit, I got the magic touch then. That's what we're going to go with. If he starts playing well in 2 months, I got the magic touch.
Sound like leak.
Real talk, though. If that's what happens, like, really, y'all need to go watch some Warriors game. This man can't dribble the ball up the court sometimes. It's bad. He's shooting like 20% from 3. He's shooting like 10% at the basket. He can't do anything.
Which
At least Kelly was just missing wide open shots.
and this is a side note.
At least it was just that.
This is a side note.
Just that.
And we can get back to it. But this is a side
Still
note.
caught that
This
smoke.
questions how I feel about Jordan Poole. Because I'm like, Jordan Poole is hooping right
He's
now
hooping.
in Santa Cruz.
If he doesn't get Brad's spot when he comes back, I'm upset.
I'm like, something's wrong.
I'm upset.
Something's wrong with either, like Jordan Poole can't make it translate for some reason.
It's Steve Kerr. I'm just gonna say it.
You blaming on
I'm
Steve?
blaming Steve.
I always said I wondered if Steve Kerr was overrated coach.
Steve Kerr is actually, he's coaching very well this season. But right now, he doesn't know how to switch mindsets. He's still caught up on this idea of, I need a veteran point guard to hold down the second unit.
Adjustments. We always talk about that's pretty much what seemed like to be
That's what
his
stuff
worst. Yeah, his worst attribute or characteristic is just making adjustments. It seems like.
And he is so reluctant to hand over the keys to a young guy who's going to make mistakes, who's not really good on defense. He's so reluctant to just be like, well, I just got to live with it. He's like, I'll just stick with Brad, because at least I know Brad's a veteran who can't do anything right. But, hey, he's a veteran. Steve, come on, man. You got to get out your own head. You got to get out your own head. Get out your own way.
That's called tenure.
Get out your own way, man. Like, I'm going with Steve Kerr on this one. But, anyway, back to the Spurs. Yeah, I would love to see Patty Mills go somewhere else, though. Rudy Gay is somebody I know a lot of teams are looking at. Like, the only question for the Spurs is, what is Greg Popovich going to do? Like, end of the day, it always stops at Pop. Right. Does he want... Right now, they're in the playoffs. Like, they're firmly in the playoff hunt. So, does he want to take a step back and say, all right, throw away some wins, get some more assets, and kind of work away from there? Or does he just want to ride off into the sunset with one last playoff run? Who knows?
That's a good question. If I'm Pop, I ain't trying to tank.
No, you don't tank when you're great.
Yeah, he could. Cause you playing with my stats now as a coach, and so
yeah, I'm pretty sure he's about to get some other record.
He's like, I built this.
Me,
brick
by brick.
I don't think he cares anymore.
No, he care. He care, man. He's a competitor. He's a competitor for sure, man.
Man, that man's legacy is so secure.
It's secure, but still,
Like,
like,
can it be more secure? I mean, Tom Brady, when he had 6, it was really secure. Then he got 7.
It's really not. That man's 72. He is retiring in the next 2 years, minimum.
So what can he do? One more.
exactly.
One more first round exit.
Look, man, in
Playoff
my
appearances
mind,
is a stat.
my mind, a win is always better than whatever a loss gonna get me. Unless like that win doesn't get me to the playoffs. Last game of the season, and I'm playing for either an AFC playoff spot or the first round pick. I'm honestly gonna go for the win. I just can't in my head like
You're in a free throw contest.
yeah.
The guy says, "Hey, miss this shot. Let the other guy win for $1 billion. What you doing?
What do I get if I hit the shot? Just to win?
You get the trophy.
No, because now I'm going for the money. The money's the bigger win. That's
Is it?
immediate. Yes,
The first-
$1 billion.
Isn't the first
know,
round?
no,
Wouldn't the number one
you-
overall pick be a better win
You're
than
winning.
a
But
No.
in my
Excellent.
head, that's competitive. That gets me to the next round.
won-
And as long as I'm playing, I think
you-
I can win everything.
Yeah.
So
You won
To
the
get
tournament.
to the next round,
He won the tournament.
Winning the tournament is
Or-
cool if you want to progress.
Yeah.
But if my goal in progressing is just to get the money, and I could just get the money without
let's say
the
if somebody like
progression,
offered me
I'm
like,
gone.
hey, 100K, let your guy win, but like me winning the tournament gets me like $1 million, I'm gonna beat this guy.
Yeah.
So it's like
If the at the end of
you
the day,
you
the
changed
goal is
what winning was. Winning was
No,
the $1 billion.
I did not.
Because
No,
$1 billion
I did
was more
not.
You
important.
kinda
for,
did.
for Taman, it is.
You kinda did.
It's like,
Like
hey,
in this scenario,
I
am
want the thing. If I can get the thing losing, all right, fine. I still got the thing.
Like
But
who really
I
cares?
can't get
who
it-
caars about a free throw trophy? Like
Yeah.
I would rather have the.
This
$1
is
billion.
like-
But my goal
if
is
That's
to
the
win.
that's the winner of the tournament. You came to play and win the tournament.
Would you rather have the number 1 draft pick on a loaded draft, whatever draft it is, number 1 draft pick coming up this year, or would you rather have an NBA championship? So that means
That's
for the
not-
but
like-
no, that's what I'm saying. For
That's
that
not the
last
same.
game to get into the
'Cause
playoffs,
you telling me I can get Jordan and I'm guaranteed
I said
6
this
of them
draft
things.
this year. You're not guaranteed 6. We're not drafting history. This draft this year.
Oh,
we talking
but-
about tanking.
Okay.
So
You're telling me
what-
I get,
it's a rookie
Like
you
I'm
never
going
had.
off what you said. You said you would rather try to go for the AC than have the
Because
number
that
one
means
pick.
I'm still playing for an NBA.
I'm being
championship.
realistic. There's only been 2 8 seeds I believe that have ever won
So
their
you
first
would
round
throw the
series.
last game.
I wouldn't throw it, but I wouldn't be mad if I lost.
Of course,
I'd be
you're not
like,
mad if
whatever.
you lost, but you're trying to win.
Like and that also comes down to money because I'm pretty sure there's incentives in your contract to win. So that kind of goes down to what you said earlier. Like I'm good if I'm getting extra $2 million if we win this game. I'm going for the win.
Tech free throw, last game of the season, and get you in the playoffs or get you the number 1 seed. You have the option to pick whoever's on your team. Like, mind you can pick your best free throw shooter to shoot these free throws. All he has to do is make one, and y'all are in for the 8th seed. If he misses, y'all get the number 1 pick. Are you
once
telling
again,
him to miss it or make
this
it?
all goes down to who. Like I said, this all goes down to whose viewpoint are we looking at? From a coach's viewpoint, once again, there's literally incentives on us going to the playoffs. I'm getting an extra $1 million if
I'm
we
just
go
saying,
to the
period.
playoffs.
If it's
the
your
GM
organization.
is in the GM box going, please miss, please miss, please miss.
If it's you and your organization,
Like, that is what-
I'm
that
just
is the
pushing for the
viewpoint.
win. I'm just pushing for the win all the time.
I
Like,
feel you.
If you're the GM and you had that power to tell the person to miss, would you?
Yes. It is better for us to get the number 1 pick than it is for us to go get beat in the first round.
Maybe. I just look at it like I can always win.
Especially if I know the number 1 pick is going to be if I know it's a Jordan type prospect or a Cade Cunningham or a Luka Doncic. Yes, give me the number 1 pick now.
I don't know. I just don't know when
Now.
losing ever became the better option.
Now.
Fair, I guess.
Give me 12 years of Luka over this one first round sweep
this
and
is
I'm
what
good.
tanking. Yeah, for sure. Like, but I'm talking about in the moment. I always think like I have a chance to win.
Yeah, as a player,
I don't
as a
see
coach,
it.
yes.
I don't see it as I'm going to lose in this first round. I see it as I still have the opportunity to win an NBA
I
championship.
feel you. As a coach, I always walk into every game coaching my tail off to win. But I've also walked into some games going, everybody over there is 6'7" and above, and I got nobody over 6'4". Us winning this game would be a miracle.
But you try your hardest to win.
Exactly. That's
That's
what I'm
my whole
supposed to do.
point.
That's my job.
And my original question was, would you throw a game? That was the original question. Would you throw a game for the number 1 pick?
The last game of the season,
No.
We ain't got to talk about it. We ain't got to self-incriminate, bro. We ain't got to do it.
Yeah, I was about
We
to
ain't gotta
say.
do it, man.
as a GM, I might. As a coach or player, no. Let's put it that way. It's all about what viewpoint you're
Perspective.
looking at.
Perspective matters. That's what he's saying. Perspective matters.
all
Perspective matters, people.
I think winning matters
Sometimes.
most. You play to win a game. We ain't playing a game. I ain't trying to win.
We had a successful season. We're fighting for the 8 seed.
Successful season fighting.
We're fighting for the 8
A's.
seed.
Playoffs.
We were there.
We were there.
We were there. We had a shot.
What's next?
And we're going to get the number 1 pick next year. Man, we're going to be solid.
Should the Pelicans sell?
So
Start selling. Brandon Ingram and Zion Williamson.
Oh, they're off limits.
They're
set.
untouchable.
They're untouchable. But you got Lonzo Ball, Eric Bledsoe, Steven Adams, Josh Hart, J.J. Redick, Willie Hernan Gomez. I believe everything after that, Nikhil Alexander-Walker, Jackson Hayes.
I think if they
Nicole
sell, they
Melly.
should sell.
It's Riddick.
Yeah, I was about to say like maybe other young pieces like try to fit around Brandon and Zion a little bit more, but I don't think they're in like a sell to try to get better and win now or compete more now. Like they're 2 young all-stars or that young all-stars. You let them develop as well. I think that might be a sentiment of rushing it too soon. So if you sell, I don't think you sell to try to get veterans around in terms of boosting a record or whatever. Like now you're just trying to make the playoffs with your young guys, try to develop more. You're not thinking championship for a few years realistically.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I guess I should have clarified the question. So sell for better fits, because we've been hitting that Eric Bledsoe is not a starting point guard anymore. Lonzo Ball may not be a point guard because of his style of play.
They
not
need
being
to
able.
They need to find out though.
And I think that's another thing. They haven't really they really haven't turned over that stone to try for him. And I think that's been a thing for Zoe at this point. You got Steven Adams. He can fit, but he seems like he could be in the way because Zion is so downhill of a oh snap.
Probably a package.
Cool.
Like I think they definitely need to move off Riddick. I would definitely look into moving Eric Bledsoe. I don't know how much you could get back for him. I don't know how many teams really are looking for a guy like Eric Bledsoe. He's still a solid NBA guard. I just don't think he's a starter on a good team anymore. But I do think they need to move off both of them simply on the fact of move Eric so you can finally give Lonzo the keys, see if he can do it or not. Like, it's just that simple. It's his contract year. You need to see if he's worth the investment. Give him the last 35 games to prove he's a point guard.
Yeah, it would be awful if they go into the offseason and they waive their rights in terms of him being a restricted free agent, because he will be a restricted free agent.
Yep.
But they waive that, let him sign anywhere, and then he goes off somewhere and like, oh snap, he's a point guard.
That's good.
He's a point guard now.
There's a high probability of that happening.
I know, but David Griffin is not no idiot either. But it seems like when they signed on Stan Van Gundy, his role has just been kind of.
It's just
he's
strange
been a
fit.
tweener.
Yeah, it's
He's
just
been
a strange
tweener.
fit. With him and Eric Bledsoe on the court, it's a strange fit, just period. It's Eric Bledsoe who can't really shoot, who needs the ball in his hands to be effective, and then Lonzo Ball, who granted has really improved on his shooting stroke, shooting 40% right now, like from 3. Like, it's just a weird fit. Right. Like, they need to get Eric Bledsoe out the way and just either move Eric to the bench or you need to get Eric out of there. And then J.J. Redick is a guy who, granted, he's having a down year by his standards, but he's still J.J. Redick. Like, any team could use a sniper.
Right.
Like, I don't care that he's shooting 35% from 3, 36% from 3 right now. It's J.J. Redick. Like,
He's gonna be on when it's time.
exactly. So, like I said, I think they could probably get a first round or a second round pick for him if they really want to move him out of there. Steven Adams is a little bit more iffy. Like I said, I think there's times he fits. Like, then there's other times, like you said, where it's kind of like him and Lonzo, or not Lonzo, him and Zion kind of are doing the same things. But I do like him on this team just because, like I said, it's a veteran big who can soak up those big minutes, those 5 minutes.
Right.
So Zion doesn't have to for an extended period of time yet.
Like the games versus Philly, the games versus Utah, the
Yeah,
games
Lakers
versus,
or whatever.
Yeah. You're like, oh, he matters now. Like, he matters.
So,
But when you talk about his contract, and I guess is how I view Rudy Gobert in a sense. Like, oh man, we're paying him this much, but we're gonna have you on the court when one of the other
certain
3 bigs,
certain matchups.
when you only playing the other 3 bigs in the league, and you don't want to put them in he's a good defender, but you still don't want to put him on a guy like
AD or something.
Yeah, because that's barbecue chicken. So
yeah, I'm with you. So they're definitely a team that like they have some pieces they need to move off of, and like I said, at the end of the day, you have your two studs. Let them grow, let them mature. Do not try to rush the process like Boston did. Let them grow into themselves, and like I said, give Lonzo the keys and see what he can do.
All right. Top teams to buy. Who's buying? I got Dallas. Dallas needs to do some buying.
That's what it seems like. Dallas is up there.
But they're talking about moving Kristaps,
I know.
which I mean, it's not really that surprising.
It's not. You can't stay healthy. You gotta go.
Which, like, it's always weird. Like, it's not shocking that they're trying to move him, but on the same token, it's like since they're trying to move him, they probably shouldn't be trying to move him because his value's at the lowest it could be right now.
Yeah.
It's a weird line to walk.
Kristaps. I'm starting to get a sense that he's a little sensitive. Unfollowed Dallas.
Did he really?
Yeah, on Twitter
I
and
didn't see that.
stuff and Instagram and stuff. Unfollowed. That means so much now.
I
Apparently.
would say okay.
That means so
Apparently.
much. Oh, you unfollowed me.
I think if I was a player, I would do that like every month just to mess with people now. Like, unfollow.
If I was a player, I probably wouldn't be following my team.
That's real.
I see enough of them.
Like I'm contracted.
Like,
I'm
I
literally
live
here every day.
I live here. I'm not gonna.
Yeah, I wouldn't follow my job. I
not
definitely
gonna
wouldn't follow my job.
Right. I'm not gonna follow my job.
That's real.
I think that's been something that he's done. So I guess he's kind of starting to check out in a sense in terms of being a part of the team and of that nature. And maybe they can, salvage it. And so far gone, but I do think it's time because if you can't stay healthy, as talented as he is, we haven't been able to see the full potential of it.
Yeah.
At any point while he's been at Dallas.
Like those first couple games against the Clippers was like, that was Kristaps and Luka like at their max for what they are right now.
Right.
And it was actually very scary to see. Like we literally watching, it was like, yo, the Clippers are kind of on the ropes right now. Like
Yeah.
they're giving them all they can handle. And then Kristaps goes down. And it's like, well, we're back here again.
Yeah.
And I guess that's kind of just the thing with Kristaps. And since he's come back from injury, he's finally started to play really well offensively. He's shooting the ball really well.
But they moved him to the 5 to do it. And
He can't play defense right now. Like, he can't move. Like, he used to be not a great defender, but he was, like, solid. He was a really good rim protector. He could
'cause
move
he was
a little
mobile.
bit. Yeah, he was mobile. Like, right now, he can't move. And it's obvious. And like I said, I think that's something Dallas is looking at. They're just like, is his body actually going to be able to hold up over an extended period of time? Once again, do you want to rush this? I mean, you have Luka at 21 playing at an MVP level. So I think he just turned 22, actually.
Back to what I was originally saying, everybody's rushing the timeline.
But once again, when you have an
But I don't even think Kristaps was a rush in the timeline. And I think
But moving him would
But
be.
moving him now would feel like
that's what
the
I'm
rush
saying.
of the timeline.
Because Luka is 21, and I get it. Luka, when you have guys who are that young, who are that ready now, you try to build a ready now roster around them. It's like we see that they're already championship type like talent. So let's try to get it as early as possible. So they're doing the right thing in a sense of always trying to get better. But the major roster shakes or like the feeling of I need to hit this button now because like the window of opportunity is closing is a combination of looking at your window of time to win a championship is realistically not based on a star's age anymore, but how much they like to be in your city, like be a part of your organization, because everybody moves around so much and trades so much. So while you could have a 21-year-old Luka, and I'm saying like we can pump the brakes on the championship thing right now because he's 21, a lot of other people might look at it like if you don't figure this out soon, you might lose him because he might want to go somewhere else, especially if you're someone like who's like Giannis, who's in a smaller market. So
And like I said, I think that's always the line. Like I said, GMs and front offices have to walk. It's like, well, we hit on Luka. We have, like I said, I always say the biggest thing in the NBA, you have to have the superstar. If you don't have the superstar, you're not in the discussion. Like, it is rare you're in the discussion.
it's like every
without that
20
superstar.
years, like
Like I said,
every like 10, 15 years you get one.
you're right about 20. Last one was the Detroit Pistons with Chauncey and Ben.
Yeah.
That's the last one. Since then, you need
superstars.
a superstar. And most of the time, you need multiple. Okay, Dallas got their guy. They swung on Kristaps. I remember when that trade happened. We all sat here and was like, man, that could be the move.
If he stays healthy.
If he stays healthy. And we're, 2 years in, and we're still having the same discussion.
Yeah.
So that's something Dallas has to legitimately look at. Is Kristaps worth the investment, or can we get something of value back for him? I don't know the answer. Like, to me, Kristaps is always a player that's like, anytime you see him fully healthy, you're just like, wow. Like, he's 7'3", can shoot from 30, post up.
I just don't think it's beneficial to trade him right now because of those reasons.
Yeah.
He's so good. You might as well just say, let him heal up. If we still decide to trade him, then trade him. Because whatever you trade Kristaps for right now isn't going to get you further into a championship position in my eyes. So
Agreed.
I don't even think excuse me.
Go ahead.
I don't even think he's going to bring you the assets to win more. Like, I don't think you're going to come out of that trade like, oh, we got better. You just got rid of Kristaps. And you got rid of him when his stock was low. You might as well just let him heal up. If you still decide, like, all right, we're off this Kristaps train, let him showcase that, like, all right, I'm healthier now. Then move him if you still decide to move him. But moving him right now is not going to benefit you in any kind of way. You're just be like, hey, we moved Kristaps. It's like pulling the trigger way too early just to say you did it.
Okay.
I mean, I agree. But I think it goes back to, like, the perspective in terms of the superstar. Now you're dealing with a situation where, okay, the superstar says, you had me, but what did you do when you had me? And they already made some moves that were detrimental to him and the team. We talked about it. You let Seth Curry go.
Yeah.
The offense got dramatically worse in terms of the team and everything like that, especially early. Like, they had to figure it out again. Like, so they're kind of slowly trying to kind of eke back up into that offensive rhythm they had in the past.
Yeah.
Defensively, are they better by a lot? Not really. So what was the overall arcing move of that?
The pass I have to give them is they were a team that got devastated by COVID.
True.
They literally went, I think, like a 2-week stretch where they were walking out the court, there with 8-9 guys. Most of their defenders weren't there.
Right.
So
and that's a pass. But even me as a superstar, I can look at my other superstar homies like LeBron looked at Wade and say, "Oh, you my boy," but
you think that's how Luka's looking at Kristaps?
Maybe. That's maybe not now, but at some point, if I let this extend out,
so it's like a balance of keeping him happy as well as doing what's best for the organization.
The conversation of saying, "Oh, when Kristaps is healthy, when Kristaps is healthy."
Let's get old.
It does very quickly,
especially if I'm the other star.
Right.
I mean,
if I'm the main star, I'm like, yeah, I'm getting.
I'm pretty sure Luka went home after that Clipper series. Like, if Kristaps had played, we could have won that game.
Right.
Like, he was like,
but how many playoff series he's gonna have to play without Kristaps?
Exactly.
And think that same thought to the point where he's like, I'm sick of it. You know what?
Nice. But what I'm trying to say
what are we
is,
doing
like,
now?
Trading him right now isn't gonna fix that. Now he's
True,
gonna
you're
look
right.
at it like, because you're not gonna get a singular player back that's better than Kristaps when healthy, and you're not gonna get enough role players and assets around to make up for what Kristaps left immediately for when he's actually on the court. So it's like, it's just. I don't see a point in getting rid of him right now unless, like, there's, like, a come-up to be made. But who's to say there's not a come-up to be made?
I mean, like I said, that's always the thing of, like, that's why you test the market. Like, you see what's out there. You see what the value is. And then you kind of inform your decisions from there. Like, you call up a few people, say, all right, this is what y'all are willing to offer. Okay, yeah, that's way too low than what we should get. So we'll talk about this in a year. Or, whoa, that's way higher than we thought we would get. Maybe we should make the move right now. Yeah. Like, this is what you test the market for. That's the job of every front office. Like, I always get upset when these rumors come out and people are like, oh my God, I can't believe they thought about. No, that's the job of the front office.
You got to test the market.
Like, that's what their job is. What do you think they're supposed to do all day? Just sit around and watch the team play? Like, they're going to see how they can improve the team. And that's whether that's trading a star or whether that's moves on the margin by bringing up a G League player. You're always finding ways to improve your team.
Okay. All right. We'll see. How long we got till the trade deadline?
March 25th.
March 25th. So, got a month. See some more moves.
I'm more interested in the buyout market.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be way more interesting. What's up, DeMarcus Cousins? Like we didn't talk about him, but like
He's a free agent now.
he's a free agent. That's what I'm saying.
pretty
Like
much it.
nobody's
no rumbles yet, and
He's gonna end up somewhere.
for sure. And it'll be one of those minimum vetman type deals, of course. But I don't
Maybe
think
if the Nets miss out on Andre Drummond, maybe they take a swing at DeMarcus Cousins.
Man, please go ahead and make that interior defense worse.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know at this point. I don't know.
Lakers
I think
might call him back.
They might. No, they already said they're not.
so. Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I just want him to be on a team, and I want him to be healthy, so he can contribute and just be a part of a good situation.
That's real.
He deserves that. IT deserves to be in the league, just because his body and everything failed him. Doesn't mean I can't feel sorry for somebody.
I feel sorry for him.
I mean, deserve to be in the league is a whole different conversation other than feeling sorry for somebody.
Okay, so I feel sorry for him. I wish
You deserve to be in the
wasn't.
league if you can play in the league. Melo deserved to be in the league.
Why you looking at me? I don't know why you're looking at me. I still don't know why you're looking at me.
IT on the other hand, I'm not gonna. I would like to see him in the league, but
Yeah, I mean, I think for me it's more so listen to the DeMarcus Cousins story and the IT story. It's like, dang, like y'all had contracts y'all could have taken. And
IT's was worse.
IT's was definitely
His
worse.
way worse.
Yeah.
Way worse, but still, like, dang, like
I heard like even after the Achilles with the Pelicans, they still offered him a contract at excess of $100 million. He just said no to it
Yeah, he just turned it
and
down.
bet on himself.
Just lost.
Yeah, honestly. And it's unfortunate because we all wanted him to win that bet, but
yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, that's the way the cookie crumbles sometimes.
Facts.
IT was nearly averaging 30, and then Danny Ainge just wring the last juice from his body and just toss them away.
Facts.
All right, so let's get to it, man. Off court stuff. With Kyrie Irving, put out a post. I don't remember if it was on Twitter or
Instagram.
It was Instagram. Okay, put out a post, pretty much, in favor of, and I think it was just on random. I think he was just thinking about Kobe.
No, it was 224.
Oh, okay. So he put out a post pretty much Kobe being the logo, the new logo, and said that this should happen. And a lot of people has pretty much been behind it. There are people who are opposed to it. But is it time for the NBA to change the logo? And is Kobe the guy? Is that too much?
I'm not gonna say it's time because 100% honest, I'm fine with the logo the way it is. It wasn't like Jerry West was just some super duper racist player or something like that,
Right.
and it's just like, we can't.
Jerry West is beloved by all.
Cool guy.
Yeah, he's Jerry West. So there's
Cool
nothing
guy.
wrong with the NBA logo that it would need changing. This one is just more of a celebration of somebody who has affected the game so massively. So in terms of does the NBA logo need to be changed? Like, no. Like, if it doesn't get changed to Kobe, like, it's not that big of a deal. If it does get changed to Kobe, wow. Great way to honor him, his legacy, his impact on the game. I can see why some people are clamoring for it to be changed to Kobe Bryant. Kyrie was completely right in terms of, like, the influence that black athletes have on the entire league. They should be representative of the fact that this has been a predominantly black league in terms of the modern day basketball. Yeah, I'm all for it being changed to Kobe, biasly and unbiasedly. But if it doesn't happen, it's not something that needs to happen, is what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
It was something that, if it happens, really, really cool. But Jerry West cool too. And we got to stop acting like, the NBA got to stop acting like we don't know it's Jerry West. Like, we know it's Jerry West. That's the reason at first they said it couldn't be changed to Kobe, because it was like the NBA logo isn't
one single person.
Yeah. It's basically like a default character or whatever. And it's like, that's Jerry West. We all know that's Jerry West. Like,
We've always known this. Jerry.
Yeah.
In
let's stop
defense,
it.
in defense, Jerry West did look like every other white ball player back then. Like, he looked exactly
But
like
that was
him.
the
It's
white
him.
ball player getting
It's
buckets.
him.
We
It's
know
him.
he's
It's
the
him.
logo.
But he looked exactly like every
His
other white
nickname
ball
isn't
player.
the logo for no reason. Like, why do they call you the logo? Oh, I was a
I don't
graphic
know.
design major in college. Like, no. No, you were a bucket, and they made you the NBA logo. We're not stupid, NBA. It's okay if people want to change it to Kobe, and it's okay if we know that it's Kobe Bryant.
Right. What you think, B? Because I mean, in this situation, Kyrie said what he said. Vanessa Bryant came out and said, she was in favor of, or she would, it wouldn't.
It had her blessing.
Yeah, had her blessing. So
like Meek Mill.
Let's not talk about it. Let's not talk about it.
we could talk about it. We could talk about it because Meek didn't have to do that. Like honestly, like
I mean,
we got to.
the line was just whack. It was
It was bad. It was a bad bar. It was a bad bar.
That's really what it
made it
is.
bad.
If he somehow made it a
That's what made it
hotline,
bad.
you know what? Everybody would have been like, that's rap. That's what they would have said. But since it was
trash.
whack,
But
since
since
it
it was
was
trash.
boo-boo,
It was trash.
It's a
it was
bad bar,
disrespectful.
man.
It was a
It was
bad
mad disrespectful.
I think
It was extra disrespectful because it was trash.
it would have just been
Exactly.
disrespectful
Like,
if
how
it was
dare you
good.
do
But
that?
now, it was blasphemous because
Yeah,
it was
blasphemous
bad.
because it was so bad.
Trash.
I look
So
at it.
bad.
I look
Boo-boo.
at it, but that's how I'm
Garbage.
looking at Vanessa Bryant because I think at every turn now, anything that's related to Kobe's likeness, Kobe's mindset.
She's the gatekeeper of Kobe.
She's the gatekeeper of Kobe, and I think that's how I'm viewing this. When is it too much of saying, all right, are we doing too much with Kobe's likeness?
It's basketball. It's Kobe Bryant. It's
And-
basketball. It's like synonymous.
But at the same time, maybe even though it's synonymous, and even though we as hoop fans and hoop culture understand it's
You
synonymous,
feel like they're trying to cheap out on the fact that like Kobe has such a big legacy by using him in all these
right?
avenues.
And
People are gonna always try to profit off somebody else's death, and we're gonna always hear clamorings about somebody else being on the logo. Like, knock on wood, but the day in the distant future, hopefully, when MJ passes, we're gonna hear let's
Right.
change the logo to him. It's gonna always be a different way that we want to honor people, in terms of their legacy. The Kobe Bryant thing is just, I don't think it's definitely in modern day history in the sport of basketball, or even in across any of the sports, like it's a top 5 to 10 guy, just for the sake of argument, pass away that early, especially that soon after leaving his sport. Like,
Right.
But he's still a recognizable figure. It wasn't like Kobe Bryant was 79 years old.
right.
It wasn't like it was like
We're generations down the line. You're
yeah.
sitting with your great grandkids, and they're like, "Who's that?" And I'm like, "Who do you mean, who's that? That's Kobe." And you're
Yeah,
like,
death always hurts, but it wasn't like it was his time to go. He
Right,
felt like
I
it was
feel you.
stolen from us. So a lot of people are gonna constantly want to celebrate because it's a sport of basketball. If you want to talk, if you ask honestly, the general populace, most people in the world, they're gonna say Kobe Bryant is top 3.
yeah,
Most people in the world. So if the consensus top 3 guy passed away that early after exiting, like, yeah, it's gonna be a whole lot of like clamoring for his celebration. But then again, it's also because he affected the game so much. Like, this is the generation of Kobe. Like, this is
So yeah, I don't know. I think that's how because both these things happened pretty much around the same time. Meek dropped the bad bar,
yeah, the boo boo bar.
and she was like, "Hey,
Garbage.
cut that." And then this happened, and she's like, "Oh no, that has my blessing." And so I'm like, how much longer? And she's gonna have to do that for I guess
That's the rest of her life.
her life.
Unfortunately.
But like, when do we as people kind of give her space to kind of be like, all right, Kobe is yours, and yes, we love him, but that's, you know what I mean? Like, there has to be some level of respect to where we're like,
Bro,
can we let
bro. It's
know
the
what I mean?
internet, bro.
Yeah,
she
it's
ain't
the-
never
that's
gonna
the
get
thing.
that.
And
So-
if you see what
She
she's
never
giving
gonna
the
get
blessing
that.
to and stuff, it's only high level things.
Exactly.
And I feel like that's a grace that she has. Like, she only has to pay attention when someone like Meek Mill or Kyrie speaks on
Because
it.
people can make murals all day, and
people's
she's
gonna-
not gonna comment on
Yeah,
every
like,
single last
exactly.
mural put on the wall.
That
But
happens
like,
with
yeah,
everybody. Yeah, she's not gonna say anything to like if we want to make Kobe the logo of this podcast or something. She's not gonna be like, hey,
Yeah.
y'all can do that or can't do that. She's
I mean,
like,
it-
Kyrie,
But
has
it
that
depends.
pull.
It depends
that
on if
pull.
the content of this podcast relate to Kobe. Like, say we, for whatever instance, this one of our episodes blow up, but she doesn't like the nature of the podcast, or she doesn't feel like the nature of the podcast would relate to who Kobe was as a human or a ball player. Which I don't think is the case. I think we fall
I
in
mean,
line
but
with that.
hypothetically, if she
But
did go that route, then it's as respectfully as I can say, like, that doesn't matter as long as we're not disrespecting Kobe. Like, she's not the gatekeeper who can talk about Kobe Bryant or who can
Yeah.
celebrate him. Like, he affected all of us in our ways. I think it's more so on the level that Keith was talking about, the celebrity status of some of these individuals. when it can get to her that easily, that's when it's like, nah, that's not okay. When it can get to her ears,
Yeah,
like
but
if
we're
we're talking about Kobe on a
something and it goes
podcast,
viral, that's like plenty of Kobe things have gone viral. Like plenty of murals have
Yeah,
gone out there.
yeah.
All of that stuff, and she hasn't said
yeah.
anything
If it
about
goes viral and it's like a negative thing, she might be like, that's not it.
Yeah. But if it's like those things, the Meek Mill bar, as much as we dislike it, it was just like she knows how long lasting that could be. Like a verse and a rap song by someone like Meek Mill could last forever, and that's a bad bar. And she's like, nah, don't do that to yourself.
Yeah.
With Kyrie, changing the NBA logo can last forever.
Yeah.
So she has to speak on that. Like something going viral, she doesn't really have to speak on, especially at that point. Like once it gets to the viral point and once it gets back to her, it's late at that point. Like the Kyrie thing, she could speak on immediately. The Meek thing, she could speak on immediately. Something going viral, she doesn't have to talk about it.
And there's also this thing of when you're somebody that reached the status of Kobe or LeBron or Jordan or Tom Brady or any superstar, Michael Jackson, Prince, anybody that reaches that level, that status, I always say there's this kind of sacrifice that has to come from your family.
Yeah.
That as you're definitely more important to them than anybody.
Yeah, but you have to get shared with the world.
Exactly. Like the world loves you. Granted, they may only love you for your talent. They may not know you as a human being. That's always reserved for your family. But for what Kobe and Jordan and all these celebrities, whoever you want to throw in this conversation, what they represent to the world itself, like, can't really be taken away. Like, I've gone on pod. I cried the day Kobe died. I cried here on the pod when we did that episode. I'm about to cry right now. Like, that's what Kobe meant to people. And I never met him.
Yeah.
Never had a conversation. I would have loved to. That was actually when I always say I want to become a college basketball coach. Like, there are a few people I want to meet on that journey. Like, Kobe was one. Magic. Like, Magic, Larry Bird, Isaiah Thomas. Like, there's people I want to meet on that journey. I wanted to meet Dean Smith. There's people I wanted to meet. And I know even if I am blessed enough to reach that status of I'm one of the best college basketball coaches ever, I'm never going to meet Kobe. I'm never going to be able to go to the Final Four and say, hey, yo, Kobe, come talk to my young guy. Like, I'm never going to get that moment. That's what Kobe means to people. And Vanessa definitely, if she wanted to tell people, yo, I don't want to talk about Kobe anymore, she has earned that right.
Yeah, for sure.
No ifs and buts about it. But you can't take away other people's experiences of it, especially if it's not being, like Tamar said, disrespectful.
She doesn't own Kobe Bryant.
It's unfortunate, but she just can't.
Yeah. Now we can respect her as much as his wife, as the mother of his children. We can respect her, of course. Like, you get that. That's family, but it's not own. Like, Greg, we're not blood, but I can't imagine like your mom being like, nah, you can't celebrate Greg in this way if you have a big accomplishment or something just because like she's your mom. I'm like, yo, like that's my friend. Or Kobe, like that's my idol, or something like that. Like, it's the connections you make with people is a shared thing. And while Kobe didn't make a direct connection, he never sat on my couch. He affected me in ways, even though he was 3,000 miles away when he was hooping. So
For sure.
as long as it's respectful, like I don't think she's gonna have a care in the world about it. But if it's something negative like Meeks, like for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So I mean, I think that's the thing that's kind of been going through my mind, because the further we get away from it, the more open the disrespect will be. Because that's what we've done with any other track. That's why hip hop is the way it is. Because hip hop is very insensitive in terms of how we go about talking about certain, like, the 9/11 bars, and there's
Go watch a rap battle. It's real disrespectful, real quick.
Like, there are bars for almost anything.
Wow.
And so the further we remove ourselves from this tragedy, I think opens the door wider for that level of disrespect. Because like you said, the internet is going to internet. It's going to do what it do.
Yeah, for sure. There's going to be disrespectful ones. I think the ones we might hear on like popular songs though are going to be more just a mention or something rather than disrespect. Like eventually, like it's not like nobody's going to ever drop Kobe's name in a song or something like that. But as long as like the disrespect is in there, it's going to be there on some songs because the internet. But I think that's what we have to look for.
Okay. All right. Let's move on to another level of disrespect. Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Did I say it right?
Yeah, Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
I'm not even gonna try.
I said it right, yo. Sign me up. Zlatan Ibrahimovic had some words pertaining to politics and superstars. It was directed in terms a little bit to LeBron.
No, he said his name.
No, directly.
Yeah.
Directly.
Yeah,
He spoke
Literally
to LeBron.
said LeBron.
He said,
Direct
LeBron,
shot.
don't do that. He said, cut that out.
And that's been a thing. Once again, another person telling LeBron that he should not participate
Shut up and dribble.
in politics or social issues because that's not what he's good at. He's good at playing basketball. Zlatan then alluded to himself, compared himself to the situation. Said, I'm great at football, but I'm not great at politics.
You want me to read the quote?
Yeah, go ahead, read
Okay.
the quote. Thank you. Appreciate it.
So his quote, in one interview, he said, LeBron is phenomenal at what he's doing, but I don't like when people have some kind of status. They go and do politics at the same time. Do what you're good at. Do the category you do. I play football because I'm the best at playing football. I don't do politics.
He's top 3, 4.
I don't do politics. If I would be a political politician, I would do politics. That is the first mistake people do when they become famous and they become in a certain status. Stay out of it. Just do what you do best because it doesn't look good. That's a quote.
All right.
Get him.
Who wants to start?
I mean, don't we all feel
He closed it because he knows the pod's over after this.
No, I mean, we all feel the same about this.
Nah, for sure.
Like, it's the one thing I can say is, like, Zlatan, like, he's not American. He doesn't understand how the system works.
Different
over
politics.
Here. Yeah,
different politics.
it's a whole different
Where-
culture
where
and
is he
community
from?
over there.
That's a good question.
Zlatan is.
I'll look it up.
I should know this off rip.
I was about to guess, but that's
No, it's one of the
offensive.
smaller
If I guess.
countries because they never get into the World Cup. No, I remember like Sweden.
Swedish.
Yeah, I would say it wasn't like Wales.
That was such
It
a shot,
like,
though.
Oh, for sure.
It was like, nah, their World Cup team is never like generally that good.
He's from Sweden.
Sweet. Okay.
Yeah, because I always wanted to see Zlatan in the World Cup, especially like the 2014 year. But what I was going, yeah. So he's not American. Like, doesn't know how anything works over here. He should have just minded his business.
Facts.
Like I'm not really surprised he said something like this.
He is a talker.
I don't. Yeah. He played MLS for a little bit over here, but he still doesn't. It clearly doesn't get how American politics works, specifically with like people of status in terms of like athletes being our political leaders. Like, I don't think any self-educated or otherwise educated person is generally going to look at athletes like the picture perfect leader for
Politics.
intellectuals or politics or whatever like that. I'm not going to follow them blindly just because like they're hoopers.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that they can't talk about politics or something like that, or it doesn't mean that they don't know what they're talking about when it talks about politics. Like, wasn't it Secretary of Education? Did he play like pro hoops overseas or something like that? The one that Obama had.
I
forgot his name.
Was it Arnie Duncan?
Duncan. Yeah, like he hoop. So saying just because you're really, really good at a sport or really good at one particular thing means that you should like shut your mouth about politics. Like, we all understand that's stupid. Yeah.
I had a problem with it for that reason. I had a problem with it because not only did he not understand American culture, he does not understand African American culture, black culture, and what LeBron means to black culture. We've sit here and we've all said what we said about him as a ball player. He's in the GOAT conversation. He's number 2, maybe 3, all that in the third. We have our slights about him as a ball player sometimes because of the way he plays and how he talks to the media in terms of that. But in terms of what he's done as a human being,
Great guy.
I don't think he's missed yet.
Great guy.
I don't think he's missed yet. And
For sure.
once again, like, we don't want that to be a thing where we got to look at it and be like, oh, man, tragedy struck and LeBron has a scandal. LeBron did something crazy or whatever the case may be, because that would be a huge blow to our culture. But we also don't look at him as a god and anything like that. The issue is Zlatan spoke out as if LeBron is not good at this. He's good at this.
He does his homework.
Like, he knows what he's doing. He's not out here running for president. He's not out here speaking on things that he doesn't know about. And he's playing his part in terms of politics in a way where he's not addressing things where maybe he can't handle or things that's above his head. No, he's creating the voting campaign that helps people go out and vote. He's not telling them who to vote for, but he's doing that. He's building schools to help build up the communities that play a part in the politics in terms of how, people, the economy and things work around in areas like Akron and things like that. He's good at this. Yeah. So Zlatan spoke out ignorant to who LeBron is as a human being.
Yeah, he's putting that work in for sure. He's not just talking about it every now and then. Like,
right. And that I think that's what ticked me off, because you don't know Bron. Yeah. If you don't know Bron, you can't speak on it. That's like me sitting here saying, "Tamon, bro, I think that's a bad idea. Da 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 da. You don't know this." But Tamon's been in here cooking over that for the last year, 2 years, 3 years. He just ain't shown me yet, or I ain't paid attention. Yeah. And I think that's what it's been. Zlatan hasn't paid attention to us. He came here, he lived here, he talked trash while he was here playing for the MLS, saying, the MLS is trash and all that. In comparison to, other leagues, that is true. That's no cap. But he knows that. But he never paid attention to the American landscape. He never paid attention to the black landscape and said, like, okay, why is LeBron talking this way? Why are NBA and NFL players moving the way they're moving? If you don't take the time out to learn, then don't speak.
Yeah, don't speak about somebody else's country when they're trying to tell you about how they're living over there. Like, I would
I'm not
never
gonna tell you about Sweden, dog.
Yeah, like I'm not gonna tell a Swedish person about Sweden. Like, what?
Crazy.
What I look like?
Man, y'all over there talk about politics.
Crazy.
Aren't you a soccer player, man?
Crazy.
What? I don't know how Sweden works, and I understand how bad America looks generally 24/7. Like, it's an embarrassment. I get it, but you don't know how it operates over here in terms of that, in terms of us speaking out on the things that we care about. So, like I said, when I saw the statement, I did not care. I was like, in my head, I was like, yo, who asked you? And if somebody did actually ask them, why are you asking Zlatan Ibrahimovic about anything about what's going on in America?
Yeah. Or who should speak on it?
Why should we care what Zlatan says?
Yeah. It was weird.
Incredible footballer, though. Incredible footballer.
So I hear.
Yeah.
I hear he's really good.
Amazing.
B.
So I'm walking into the one person who had no idea who this man was at all.
You don't.
Wow.
You never heard his name.
Before.
Legend.
Zlatan.
I'm not.
You know how we say guys can hoop?
Y'all soccer. Y'all know more about soccer than I. I've never been big into soccer like that.
It's the world's number one sport.
And once again, I don't care.
Like, you know how we say guys can hoop? Zlatan can ball.
And I'll take like I said, the way I've heard y'all talking about, like, I'll definitely take y'all word for it. So I get it. He's a legend in his sport. Cool.
Tough dude.
Like, okay, cool. I've never heard his name before today.
Zlatan gonna slide.
Cool, whatever. With that being said, the point I'm making, I've never heard his name before today, and I don't know soccer. So I'm not going to go tell him how to play soccer. Like, I'm just not going to do it. I don't know you. I don't know what you do. I don't know how you do it. I don't know how it operates. Never played a game of soccer in my life. I ain't going to say nothing about it.
I feel like you would enjoy it.
I might have, maybe. I probably would have tripped on my own feet every other game, but whatever. Whatever. Like, I'm not going to tell somebody how to do something if I have no clue how to do it, which you've already said. I'm sick of the conversation of people telling black people, because it always comes down to athletes. We are the athletes in this country. So I'm sick of people telling black people, y'all should not talk politics. It's ridiculous. I haven't heard nobody say that to an actor yet. Haven't heard nobody say that to, Tom Brady yet.
No, they say it to actors.
Well, they say it to actors. They say it to everybody.
Sly, though. Yeah. It's real slick and sly, though. It's never out in the open.
No, for sure. And it's never direct. Like, they don't tell specific actors,
exactly.
Hey, you actors.
Well, I think the difference is, like, in acting, there's a category of, like, satire. Or they're kind of like, even if you're talking about like comedy, remember the only people who could ever like say anything bad about the king or be honest about him was the court jester.
The Jokers, yeah.
So it's a different kind of mode. But generally in any of these fields, they're all black. I can't say that. So, and a lot of these white athletes or whatever, they don't talk about politics because they don't have to. It's not. They're living the good life in comparison. Like
Exactly.
These rules and laws and legislations aren't affecting them the same way, so they care about it a little less. But some of them still do it because you said like Tom Brady, and I can combat it and say like Aaron Rodgers. So it's
it would be
it's give and
weird
take.
if they talked about it on the same way. Like if a white athlete came and talked about America's problems as heavy as LeBron did, it'd be weird because the problems affect LeBron more. It's like, hey, I see you going through this thing, but chill out, I got it.
We want support, but we don't want you to take over the mic.
Like you don't have to be on the mic all the time.
Yeah.
You can support it.
You can be player too.
No,
like,
for
just
sure.
be Luigi.
Yeah.
Like yeah. So all the white people out there, if you want to fight the good fight, just be Luigi.
Yeah. I think that happens a lot where it's like, that's why we don't see so many white athletes being told to be quiet because they know, hey, it's not your spot to talk right now. Like, just chill out, let us handle something.
So, with that being said, I need people to understand why athletes, and like I said, you could put any celebrity group of black people in this, music artists, rappers, actors. There's a reason we elevate them to a status of people we want to hear from. Mm-hmm. And I don't necessarily agree with it most of the time, but there's a definite reason for it. The definite reason for it is y'all killed all the politicians. All the people that have tried to move the political ladder as black people ain't around. So guess what y'all left us with? Rappers and ball players. And pastors. That's our three. That's who black people go to for an opinion. Mm-hmm. We can't go to Martin. Can't go to Malcolm. Can't go to Marcus. Like, you got your few guys, all Farrakhan, everybody, they still hanging on for dear life. This is what y'all left us with.
I'm not going to say it.
So for y'all to then come around and be like, y'all shouldn't listen to me either. So basically what y'all saying is y'all just want us to listen to you. That's what it comes down to.
That checks out.
Yeah.
I think I heard that. I think they said that, yeah.
Like, and I'm sorry, black people, like, y'all really need to understand. God, I'm really going off here. Y'all can't be upset if black people don't want to listen to you because y'all haven't given us a reason to trust you.
Talking about white people?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm speaking for white people
Yeah,
to America
yeah.
in general.
Yeah. Of course.
Like, you can't sit here and say, black people, y'all should follow our rules. Why? We followed your rules. You told us we were 3/5. We followed your rules. You said we couldn't vote. Followed your rules. You said we had to sit in the back of the bus. Like, why would we listen to you? You're the abuser.
Hey, man.
So I'm sorry if we have to look up to a LeBron James, or we elevated Tiger Woods to that status where he was an idol. It was like, oh my God, Tiger Woods, he's dominating the white sport and he's doing da-da-da-da-da-da. And it's like,
Prayers to Tiger Woods.
prayers up Tiger Woods.
For
like,
sure.
real talk. Like,
Yeah,
glad to hear
that's-
you're recovering. Like, great to hear. But like, y'all wonder why we are forced to elevate people to the status. It's because y'all took away the people we should have looked to.
Yeah.
We're left here. So don't then come around and tell us, well, don't talk to LeBron either. Or don't listen to LeBron either. Nah, bruh. You don't get to have that voice. Mm-hmm. That is not your realm. Don't think you can come here and tell black people, or I'm not going to say come here, you're not here right now. Don't think you can tell black people who to look up to. And don't think you can tell black people, especially black celebrities, who unfortunately have to carry that weight. Like, they don't get the option.
As soon as you cross over into that new level of tax bracket, that new space where you're in that room, you are welcomed, and maybe not welcome. You have been forced into those powerful rooms and spaces. You become the representative for all of us, and LeBron has done a good job. Like, that's what pissing me off. Like,
exactly.
It ain't like someone who's trash at this. Like, he's done a
This ain't
good
Flavor
job.
Flav at the meeting. Like, he is a legit. And granted, LeBron James has accomplished everything that could possibly be accomplished as a man in his position. He's done it all. And for lack of a better term, he's done it without a college degree. He's shown himself to be very educated, to be knowledgeable, to understand what people need and what the community needs. So to sit here and act like his voice shouldn't be heard simply because he can dribble a basketball really well is downright ridiculous.
I can't be good at two things.
Because if we really want to apply that logic, we just had a whole president who became president because he knew how to run a business. Sometimes.
He can run a business. He's just gonna be straight into the ground.
My point exactly.
Ba-dum-tsh.
Like it's always it's this thing of like, if you're white, yeah, you can do multiple things. You can succeed, and those things always translate. But if you're black, no, you only can do that really well. You're an athlete, you be an athlete. Or you're a music artist, just be a music artist. Like, why can there be a crossover? Or is that only reserved for one part of the country?
Yeah.
I'm done.
Thank you. Not for being done, but for
Yeah.
for going crazy.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
So,
Appreciate
sorry,
the take.
Zlatan.
It's Latin.
I'm not sorry.
No.
Yeah. What he said was stupid.
Yeah, for sure. Can confirm.
Sheesh.
I think we're done, guys. Shoutouts.
Naomi Osaka for winning Australian Open the other day
Big
or
shout-outs.
last week.
Yeah.
I don't know. If
Last
y'all
week.
talked about her last pod,
We did not.
a big shout out to her.
Facts. Next one.
I saw some of that Serena will win too.
You know what?
When she beat Serena, I saw
Okay.
some of that too. Anybody else? Anybody else do
So
it?
we already, like I said, prayers up, Tiger. We already said that.
Shout out to Renee Montgomery.
Oh yeah.
She is now the co-owner or one of the WNBA franchise Atlanta Dream. I had to read this so I make sure, but she is the first one to play, be an executive, and co-own the team. And she didn't do all three at once, but she's been at all positions. She's played, was an exec, and now she is the co-owner. So shout out to her.
Talk about working your way up from an organization.
Right,
sure.
right.
Big facts.
So she was a part of the investment group, and that was
Shout out Jay-Z. He sold like half of Ace of Spades, right?
Yeah.
Got a bag off of it.
To Louis Moet.
Yeah, to Moet, yeah.
so
Shout out to Kelly Oubre. You've been hooping this month, averaging about 20 a game, shooting like 44% from three. Like, I'm proud of you, man. I apologize.
there you go. I was
I was
waiting.
waiting.
I was waiting. You said shout
I
out.
was like, shout
Said
out.
proud of
Insane.
you.
I'm proud of you. I apologize. Keep it up.
Okay.
Keep doing what you're doing, Draymond. Keep doing what you're doing. I like it.
Love to see
I
it.
know that's not a Brooklyn Nets little dollop or whatever.
I know, right?
Oh,
The
this
Seth,
boy-
you know.
No, I don't.
It's actually a crazy story. So like I said, when
better be
they gave
crazy.
us our Team Richmond bags, like they had like these drinks in it. I didn't really know how to use it or what it does. So I stuck it on there like, okay, I'm gonna see what it does, and then I'm gonna take it off. I don't know how to take it off. It's been stuck on here for like a month and a half.
You gotta twist it.
I don't know how to take this thing off.
Leave it on until they get the chips.
Like when it's flat like that, you just twist it, and it should pop off. And no, put it down. I'll tell you after.
Okay, I really don't know how to take it off.
Shout out to the Nets for their run.
Bags 8 in a row.
Yeah.
Playing really well.
Yeah.
Playing really well. What you looking at me like that for?
I
definitely
that was
said-
an appreciative look.
Oh,
My
oh,
bad.
oh.
I don't really can't control my
Oh,
face.
okay. I was about to be like, I've been defending this.
Nah.
This
Face only got
team.
2 looks.
Yeah,
It's 2
like
looks.
yeah, it's just
About to
two.
put
I gave him
cases
the
on-
wrong one.
Cases on
Shut up, bro.
Jake.
You think you can do this to me?
I can't stand y'all.
How you playing
Oh,
ball
man,
in Pelican
but-
Bay?
But yeah, man. Like we said, we appreciate all the love, all the support. Keith, got any shout outs?
Shout out to the Muffin Man.
The Muffin Man?
The Muffin Man. Oh man, but appreciate all the love, all the support. Please, man, please hit that sub button, hit that comment, like, share with somebody else who enjoys the game of basketball. We try to do our best here to talk the game, be as honest and real as possible. And yeah, man, appreciate y'all. As always, eat, sleep, breathe the game. We love you. Be safe. We look like that.
Shout out to Juwan Howard, man. Michigan's hooping.
Oh, Michigan is hooping. I was about to say something else. As always, you should read the game. We love you. Be safe, and we out.
Yep.